In the third year of their secret affair, Caleb's family arranged a union. The other party was a perfect match for him in every way. Caleb happily agreed to the arrangement. That night, he knocked on Ethan's door. Caleb told him their relationship could remain the same. He only asked that Ethan not make a scene. Ethan nodded obediently, just like he always did. He did not mention his own arranged marriage. His match was the heir to the Sterling fortune. Unfortunately, the man was paralyzed and rumored to be infertile. At their first meeting, Alex Sterling tossed a card onto the table. He warned Ethan with a dark and brooding tone. Alex said the card held $10 million. He told Ethan not to expect a bonding mark. He also said never to expect his love. 3 months later, Ethan stared silently at a pregnancy test. Alex watched him with a deep, penetrating gaze. His voice was laced with a dangerous edge. He asked if the child was his, or if it belonged to someone else. Caleb's eyes were downcast as he spoke. He reminded Ethan that he would have to marry eventually. But then Caleb lifted his gaze, looking directly at Ethan. He finished his thought, stating that person would not be Ethan. As long as Ethan stayed quiet, their secret would be safe. Nothing between them would ever have to change. For 3 years, Ethan had heard those words most often. Do not make a scene. He wanted to hold Caleb's hand in public. Caleb told him not to make a scene. He was drunk and wanted a ride home. Caleb told him not to make a scene. Ethan wanted to make their relationship official. Do not make a scene. He had heard it too many times to count. Now, he was not even allowed to object to Caleb's engagement. A bitter smile touched Ethan's lips. He did not say a word. Caleb's brow furrowed in annoyance. He asked what Ethan found so amusing. Ethan simply looked at him and shook his head. He promised his older stepbrother he would be good. He promised he would absolutely not make a scene. Their so-called relationship was a 3-year secret. No one knew he and Caleb were lovers. In public, Caleb treated him only as a younger brother. Just a brother. Nothing more. Seeing Ethan's usual compliance, Caleb finally smiled. He gently stroked Ethan's hair. He praised Ethan for being the best. Yes, as both a brother and a lover, Ethan was always obedient. He was always the good one. But obedience and good behavior were ultimately useless. Caleb's phone buzzed with a new message. Ethan saw the name Julian on the screen. It was the Omega Caleb was set to marry. So they were already in contact. Caleb told Ethan to get some sleep. He walked away while answering the call. Ethan turned back into his room and closed the door. He immediately began to pack a suitcase. That afternoon, it was not just Caleb who received news. Ethan was also informed of his own arranged union. The match was Alex Sterling, the family heir. He was known for a car crash that took his legs. It was also said the accident left him unable to have children. This was not a discussion with Ethan. It was a command. This was his chance to end the shameful affair with Caleb. Caleb did not return home that night. He only appeared the next morning after Ethan finished breakfast. Caleb noticed the barely touched plate on the table. He frowned, remarking on how thin Ethan was. As Caleb moved closer, a strange scent filled the air. It clung to Caleb's clothes. Ethan then noticed Caleb wore yesterday's shirt. A faint mark was visible above the collar. The other half was exposed to the air. It was a silent declaration of his night. Ethan took a subtle step backward. He quietly said he was full. Caleb seemed helpless but did not press the issue. He just ruffled Ethan's hair out of habit. He told Ethan to ask the housekeeper for food if he got hungry. Caleb then announced he was going to sleep. He told Ethan not to wake him for lunch. Ethan lowered his eyes and agreed. To outsiders, this exchange seemed caring. To Ethan, It felt deeply ironic. Once the house was quiet, he went upstairs. He grabbed his packed suitcase and left. No one would notice his absence for hours. He took a car service to the address his mother had given him. Ethan stood outside the massive iron gates. A large suitcase rested by his side. After confirming the address, he rang the bell. Soon, the gates swung open. No one asked for his name. A man simply led him inside the estate. They walked for some time before reaching the main house. A butler showed him to a room on the second floor. The butler informed him this was his room. He pointed to the adjacent door, noting it was the master's room. He warned Ethan not to disturb the master without reason. Ethan nodded his understanding. It seemed the sterling heir was not an easy person. Ethan sighed deeply. He was in someone else's territory now. He would have to be very careful. He did not expect to meet Alex Sterling so soon. When he saw the man's face, he froze for a moment. Ethan understood why so many people wanted to marry him. The money was part of it. His striking appearance was the other part. The man sat in a wheelchair. He noticed Ethan staring and frowned with displeasure. Ethan blinked slowly. He was already being disliked. It was their first meeting, after all. He decided to introduce himself. He approached Alex with a polite greeting. Ethan said his name and identified himself as Alex's Omega. As his words fell, a sudden silence filled the living room. Ethan's smile froze on his face. He realized what he had just said. He quickly tried to correct his mistake. He meant to say he was Alex's future Omega. That sounded even stranger. Alex gave him a brief, dismissive glance. He did not speak. The butler pushed the wheelchair forward. He told Ethan that Alex wished to see him in the study. Inside the study, only he and Alex were present. A black CR card sat on the desk before him. Alex's voice, sharp as ice, pulled Ethan from his thoughts. He explained the card held $10 million for Ethan to use. Alex's cold eyes locked onto him. He stated that even after marriage, he would never mark Ethan. He would certainly never fall in love. Alex warned him to abandon any ideas of climbing into his bed. He advised Ethan to give up on that hope immediately. Ethan had researched Alex before their meeting. He knew about Alex's difficult temper. He knew Alex kept everyone at a distance. And he knew Alex despised Omegas. It seemed the rumors were all true. Ethan managed a small smile. He acknowledged Alex's terms and said he understood. After all, this was just a strategic union. There were no feelings involved on either side. He couldn't blame Alex for not accepting him. He took the card and went back to his room. After a shower, he lay in bed. His phone rang with a call from Caleb. Caleb asked why he was not home. He asked when Ethan was coming back. He was waiting to have dinner together. Ethan gripped his phone tightly. He stared at the ceiling above him. He softly said he was not returning. Caleb asked what he meant by that. Ethan repeated himself more clearly. He was not coming back to that house. Caleb was silent for a few seconds, then laughed. He asked if Ethan was angry. Caleb sighed, asking about the cause. Was it the engagement or something else? Ethan and Caleb rarely argued. This was the first time Ethan had ever left. When Ethan did not answer, Caleb's tone grew impatient. He ordered Ethan to return home immediately. He warned him not to make him say it twice. It was always like this. Caleb never considered Ethan's feelings. Looking around the unfamiliar room, Ethan broke up with him. Caleb's furious voice came through the phone after a long pause. He demanded to know what Ethan had just said. Ethan calmly repeated his words. He told Caleb they were breaking up. Caleb paused, then burst into a scornful laugh. He asked what kind of tantrum Ethan was throwing. He gave Ethan half an hour to come home. He promised he would forget this incident. Ethan told Caleb he couldn't live like that anymore. He asked if it was fair for Caleb to marry another, then expect Ethan to remain his secret lover. That was why he had to end things. Before Caleb could respond, Ethan hung up the phone. After that call, Caleb sent no more messages. He made no more attempts to call. In his mind, a little time apart would fix everything. Ethan would eventually break down. He would come back begging for forgiveness. Caleb was accustomed to Ethan's compliance. He was used to Ethan's apologies. He believed he could manipulate Ethan with ease. But a week passed, and Ethan did not contact him. Instead, his life at Alex's estate was peaceful. In that entire week, Alex never came home for dinner. Even when they crossed paths, Alex never spoke first. Ethan was always the one to offer a greeting. Most of the time, he was completely ignored. The housekeeper, Maria, tried to comfort him privately. She said the master was always like that. She told Ethan not to take it personally. Ethan smiled and assured her he would not. Greeting Alex was just a matter of habit. Whether Alex responded or not did not matter to him. Until one evening, Alex unexpectedly came home for dinner. Ethan ate his meal very slowly. He finished at the same time Alex put down his fork. Alex spoke in a flat tone. He said they were going to his family's home tomorrow. Ethan was a little surprised. He did not ask any questions. He simply agreed. The next day, Ethan accompanied Alex to his family's house. Only Alex's father and his stepmother were there. Alex's biological mother had passed away when he was 10. His father married his new wife less than a month later. Rumors in their social circle said Alex and his father had a poor relationship. Seeing them now, it was clearly true. Alex said it would be a brief visit. He was not exaggerating. They stayed for less than 5 minutes. His father yelled in a thunderous rage. Alex did not even turn his head. Back in the car, Alex spoke unexpectedly. He suggested Ethan should also visit his parents when he had time. They had not contacted Ethan since he moved out. Ethan agreed that he would, but he did not know when that meeting would happen. When Ethan was 10, his mother married into Caleb's family. At that time, Caleb was already 14. He understood what a stepmother was. He knew what bringing a stepson meant. It meant someone was there to compete for the family inheritance. Caleb disliked Ethan intensely. One night, he put a small mouse in Ethan's bed while he slept. Ethan cried until he could barely breathe. Afterward, his mother told him not to tell anyone. So he swallowed his fear and sadness. He learned to please Caleb just like she did. But Caleb ignored every attempt. Until a car accident changed everything. Ethan had shielded Caleb with his own body without hesitation. His back was pierced by shards of broken glass. In a blur, he saw Caleb's reddened eyes. He was unconscious in the hospital for 2 days. His mother said Caleb stayed by his side the entire time. After that, Caleb stopped ignoring him. His attitude changed dramatically. He would show concern for Ethan. He would comfort him when he was sad. Their relationship grew closer. During Ethan's freshman year of college, Caleb confessed his feelings. They began a secret 3-year romance. No one ever knew about them. Ethan once asked Caleb why they couldn't be public. Caleb had looked at him with a gentle smile. He told Ethan not to rush. They would announce it when the time was right. Because of that promise, Ethan waited and waited. Instead, he overheard Caleb telling a friend it was just for fun. Instead, he got the news of Caleb's arranged marriage. For several days, Alex stayed at home. Ethan asked the housekeeper about it privately. She did not hide the truth from him. She said Alex's rut was approaching. He would be home for the entire week. The housekeeper's tone was heavy. Her words carried a stern. She advised Ethan not to get any foolish ideas. And Omega once tried to use the Master's rut to get marked. That person was now serving someone else. Alex was truly a difficult man. Ethan forced a smile and gave his assurance. That evening, he was about to sleep. A loud crash from the next room startled him awake. He remembered that Alex's room was next door. On the entire second floor, it was just the two of them. Should he go check on him? As the thought arose, the housekeepers echoed in his mind. It was like a devil's whisper. He immediately dismissed the idea. The reason was simple. He did not want to die. He had not spent the 10 million Alex gave him. So he absolutely could not die yet. The housekeeper did not come upstairs. Ethan stared at the ceiling. Finally, he got out of bed. His reasoning was straightforward. If something happened to Alex, he would have to leave again. He reached the door, then turned back. He took several scent blockers from a drawer. He applied them firmly over his glands. If Alex's rut had truly started, this could buy him some time. He walked to Alex's door and knocked twice. There was no response from inside. He asked if Alex was all right while knocking again. After a long moment, he heard Alex's voice. A single word, "Leave," sounded like he was on the verge of death. Ethan hesitated for only 2 seconds. He took a deep breath and opened the door. An overwhelming wave of pheromones flooded the room. It felt like a mountain pressing down on him. The oppressive force made it difficult to breathe. He clenched his jaw and stepped inside. He found Alex collapsed on the floor. He seemed to be struggling to get up. His forehead was covered in a thin layer of sweat. Alex's eyes were bloodshot. He told Ethan to leave again, asking if he was deaf. The rutting pheromones were intensely strong. They made Ethan's own breathing labored. He went over and helped Alex up from the floor. He replied that he had heard him. Alex was panting heavily, and so was Ethan. The man was incredibly heavy. He managed to get Alex into his wheelchair. Alex seemed somewhat disoriented, but he did not forget to issue a. He demanded to know who let Ethan in. He warned Ethan not to use such a cheap trick. Not if he wanted to be marked. Ethan nodded vigorously. He assured Alex he had no such intention. As he spoke, his gaze unintentionally fell on Alex's legs. 3 years ago, Alex collided with a speeding car on a highway. The rescue was delayed for too long. Alex Sterling would never walk again. That news report could still be found online. Seeing Ethan look at his legs seemed to touch a nerve. Alex asked if Ethan thought he was pathetic. Ethan quickly snapped back to reality. He apologized instinctively. He denied having any such thoughts. Alex yelled at him to get out. He grabbed a nearby phone and smashed it against the wall. He screamed for Ethan to leave. Ethan did not dare to move. The surrounding pheromones seeped into his every pore. His mind grew dizzy. He no longer cared if Alex might kill him. He grabbed the suppressor from the table. He was about to inject it into Alex's arm, but Alex seized him by the throat. He pulled Ethan forward with great force. Then he bit down. Alex's teeth tore violently at the blockers on Ethan's glands. He ignored Ethan's struggles. He injected his pheromones directly into the gland. The unfamiliar, potent scent overwhelmed Ethan. His limbs went weak. His scalp tingled with a strange sensation. He struggled, begging Alex to let go. Alex's hand was like a branding iron. It held his neck in a death grip. No matter how much he fought, it did not loosen. Alex continuously poured his pheromones into Ethan's system. This triggered Ethan's own heat. With his last bit of strength, Ethan grabbed the fallen syringe. He stabbed it hard into Alex's hand. Alex released him. Ethan scrambled away on weak legs. He slammed the door shut. His chest heaved as he gasped for air. Once he recovered, he found his own suppressor and used it. The next morning, his gland was severely swollen. Even a scent blocker could not conceal it. Downstairs, Alex was already at the dining table. He slowly looked up at the sound of footsteps. It seemed Alex was mostly back to normal. Ethan, however, froze in place. After a tense half-minute, he finally approached. He greeted Alex. Then he sat down beside him. He ate his breakfast in silence, head bowed. His glands still throbbed with a dull pain. Even without looking, he could feel Alex's intense gaze on him. He suddenly regretted going into that room last night. Alex suddenly said his name. He stated that he had bitten Ethan last night. Ethan could not understand Alex's intention. He could only nod in agreement. Meeting Ethan's confused gaze, Alex scoffed. A hint of mockery flashed in his eyes. He said Ethan's pheromones had an effect on him. Ethan still did not understand. Alex continued. From now on, Ethan would help him through his ruts. He would be paid for his service. But Alex reiterated his original point. Ethan should not expect a full bond, and he should certainly not expect love. This time, Ethan understood. He was to be Alex's personal human suppressant, an unlikable one at that. He thought for a moment. Then he agreed. After all, Alex had given him $10 million, and it was just borrowing some pheromones. Caleb's engagement was set for 3 days later. He announced it in the family group chat. This ensured Ethan would see it. Caleb had done it on purpose. Ethan replied with a single word. Congratulations. The group chat fell silent. Caleb could no longer contain himself. He sent Ethan a private message. He complained it had been almost half a month. He asked how long Ethan planned to keep this up. Was running away from home fun? Did Ethan think he was so clever? Caleb claimed the marriage was out of his hands. What did Ethan want him to do? Should he reject the union and marry Ethan instead? He asked what Ethan's mother would think. What would everyone else think? Ethan glanced at the message for a second, then closed his phone. Caleb was right. He could never marry him. If they did get married, his mother would be ridiculed. People would say she used her son to secure her position. The family's reputation would be tarnished. So Caleb would never be with him. But Ethan did not understand one thing. If that was the case, why start their affair in the first place? The next day, he saw numerous missed calls from Caleb. He deleted them all without a second thought. He had no time for Caleb's games of feigned affection. After getting ready, he knocked on Alex's door. Every morning, he now had to soothe Alex. Soothing meant letting Alex bite him. Alex's pheromones were somewhat chaotic and unstable. Ethan learned it was due to a childhood trauma. This caused his pheromones to react erratically. Most omegas could not calm him. Coincidentally, Ethan's could. Caleb acted like a desperate dog. When ignored, he would come begging. He would graciously offer to forgive Ethan if he apologized. Ethan found it annoying. He blocked Caleb's number. On the day of Caleb's engagement, Alex went with him. Caleb saw Alex beside Ethan and frowned slightly. He looked like he wanted to say something but held back. Julian, dressed in a white custom suit, approached them. He greeted them with a polite smile. His curious gaze landed on Ethan. He confirmed Ethan's identity. It was not surprising that Julian knew him. Ethan was a frequent topic of gossip in their circles. When Ethan nodded, Julian's smile widened. He called Ethan Caleb's brother. He mentioned Caleb had spoken of him. He had thought Ethan would not attend their engagement party. Ethan smiled and replied cordially. Of course, a brother would come to his brother's engagement. Alex stood beside him with a cold expression. He looked like he could freeze the entire room. Noticing his impatience, Ethan handed their gift to Julian. He wished them a happy engagement. Under Caleb's watchful eyes, he pushed Alex's wheelchair away. He did not notice the change in Caleb's expression. Once they reached a less crowded area, Ethan stopped. He asked if Alex was feeling unwell. Alex was still in his rut period. He really should have stayed at home, but their families had a connection. Not attending would have been improper. Their own engagement was not yet public, but it was mostly a done deal. Alex replied flatly that he was fine. Ethan felt a sense of relief. He then asked Alex to wait while he used the restroom. Alex nodded. As soon as Ethan left the restroom, Caleb grabbed him. He had been waiting outside. He pulled Ethan into an empty private room. His face was etched with fury. He angrily questioned why Ethan had blocked him. Ethan frowned and answered calmly. He said he found Caleb annoying. Caleb repeated the word in disbelief. Annoying? He took a deep breath. He asked if Ethan was still angry with him. He tried to explain that these matters were beyond their control. Ethan said he was not angry. His words seemed to push Caleb over the edge. Caleb tried to suppress his rising anger. He asked again if Ethan wasn't angry. He gestured toward the door. Then what was his relationship with Alex? Caleb demanded to know who Alex was. The sterling heir was not someone Ethan could associate with. Furthermore, Alex had a fiancée. Was Ethan trying to become a homewrecker? Ethan pushed Caleb away. He looked him straight in the eye. He asked Caleb what that made him. Wasn't asking Ethan to be his secret lover the same thing? Caleb was speechless. A guilty look flashed across his face. He claimed it was different. Ethan asked how it was different. He paused for a moment. His voice was firm. He said Alex was his alpha. Caleb's expression changed. Disbelief filled his eyes. He demanded to know what Ethan said. Alex was his alpha? Then he started laughing. He told Ethan to make up a better lie. He said it was not funny. Ethan did not want to argue anymore. He pushed Caleb aside to leave, but Caleb grabbed his arm. He pleaded with Ethan to stop this nonsense. Ethan impatiently shook him off. He enunciated each word clearly. He was not playing games with Caleb. Caleb wanted to say more, but his phone rang. It was Julian. He assured Julian he was fine. He was just chatting with an old friend. He would be right there. After hanging up, Caleb looked down at Ethan. He said he would apologize after the party. He told Ethan to be good. Then he left without looking back. When Ethan returned, Alex was visibly impatient. He spoke with a slight tone of mockery. He said he thought Ethan was going to crash the wedding. Alex had investigated Ethan thoroughly. It was no surprise he knew about his past with Caleb. But the man's words were truly venomous. After the engagement party, they did not linger. They left immediately. Ethan's stepfather and mother only had eyes for Caleb and Alex. They spoke with Alex for a long time. They completely ignored Ethan standing beside him. It was better that way. Alex had a driver take Ethan home. He himself was heading to the office. Ethan said nothing. He got into the other car. Late that night, he woke up hungry. He went downstairs to find a snack. He noticed Alex's room was dark. The study was also unlit. It was only 12:30. Alex never went to bed so early. Just as he reached the bottom of the stairs, the front door opened. An assistant rushed in, pushing Alex's wheelchair. The man looked panicked. Alex's hands on the wheelchair were tense, veins bulging. 2 buttons on his shirt were undone. They hurried upstairs. Less than a minute later, the assistant came rushing back down. He saw Ethan and his face lit up with relief. He introduced himself as Alex's assistant, Ryan. He asked if Ethan was Alex's Omega. Ethan was a bit confused but confirmed he was. Ryan's eyes brightened. He explained Alex was unwell, but Alex refused to let him help. He pleaded with Ethan to go upstairs and take care of him. Seemed Alex was truly sick. Ryan was very anxious. Ethan agreed to help. Ryan thanked him profusely. When Ethan went upstairs, he found Alex lying in bed. He appeared to be sleeping restlessly. Ethan's hand was halfway to his forehead when Alex grabbed it. His eyes shot open. His skin was burning hot. Alex's voice was hoarse as he told Ethan to leave. Ethan asked if he had a fever. He offered to call a doctor. Alex repeated his command to leave. Ethan was speechless. He thought Alex should at least let go of his hand first. He asked if it was his rut acting up again. Alex's rut had not ended yet. He insisted on going out. He deserved this. Ethan pulled off the blocker on his neck. The rose-scented pheromones wrapped around Alex. He leaned down. He asked Alex to please bite him. Alex's breathing was heavy. His warm breath tickled Ethan's ear, but he did not move. Just as Ethan was about to pull back, Alex grabbed his neck. He pulled him down forcefully. Alex bit down hard on his neck. The force was much greater than before. After a long time, Ethan realized something was wrong. Alex licked his gland with his tongue. Then, with renewed force, he bit down again. Previously, Alex never bit him for so long. Also, his pheromones seemed to be out of control. Ethan started to feel scared. Alex did not speak. His chaotic pheromones poured relentlessly into Ethan's gland. Ethan struggled to get off of Alex, but he was pinned down, unable to move. Tears welled in his eyes from the pain. He begged Alex to let him go, but Alex was deaf to his pleas. He continued to inject his pheromones. Soon, Ethan's body grew hot. Alex had triggered his heat again. If this continued, they would both lose control. He struggled even more fiercely. Alex finally released him. Then, with a ripping sound, his clothes were torn. Alex's arm strength was immense. He wrapped an arm around Ethan's waist and threw him onto the bed. He climbed on top of him. His eyes were filled with raw desire. Alex's legs were paralyzed, but other parts worked fine. They were very large. Ethan's hands were weak. He tried to use words to bring Alex back to his senses. He reminded Alex of his name, but it was useless. The moment of entry was agonizing. Tears streamed down Ethan's face. Just before dawn, he dragged his broken body back to his room. The housekeeper was at the top of the stairs. She stared in shock as he emerged from Alex's room. Ethan asked her not to tell Alex about this. He assured her Alex was fine now. She could go in and clean up. Then he returned to his room. When he woke up, he was in a hospital bed with an 4 drip. He learned the housekeeper found him with a high fever. She had him rushed to the hospital. Thankfully, Alex did not know. He touched his gland. The area was still burning with pain. A permanent bond was physically and emotionally draining. He glanced at his phone. Caleb had used a new number to text him. He had also tagged him in the family group chat. So many messages made his phone lag. He patiently blocked the new number as well. He stayed in the hospital for 2 days. When he returned, he ran into Alex, who was about to leave. Seeing Alex, a flash of fear went through him. Memories of that night flooded his mind. Alex frowned, starting to speak. Ethan cut him off. He said he was not feeling well and was going to his room. Without looking at Alex, he hurried upstairs. He avoided Alex for 2 days. Every time he saw him, it was like seeing a ghost. He wanted to stay as far away as possible. Alex finally confronted him. He asked if Ethan was afraid of him. It was a question, but it sounded like a statement. Ethan paused, then shook his head. He denied being afraid. Alex pointed to the seat next to him. He told Ethan to come sit. Ethan did not know what Alex was up to. After a moment's hesitation, he reluctantly sat down. He could smell Alex's scent. His mother called while he was sitting in the sun. She said nothing at first. After a long silence, she finally spoke. She told Ethan that Caleb was engaged now. She asked him not to contact Caleb anymore. His mind was buzzing. His throat felt like it had been set on fire. After a long pause, he asked hoarsely if she knew. She ignored his question. She just told him they were not suitable for each other. A bitter smile formed on his lips. The secret Caleb tried so hard to keep was obvious to everyone. Ethan assured his mother she had nothing to worry about. He would not bother or contact him. His mother sounded relieved. After hanging up, he stared calmly out the window. Throughout the call, she never asked how he was. She never asked if he was adjusting. Her only concern was for Caleb. Caleb came to the Sterling estate to find him. Seeing him, Ethan just felt annoyed. He asked what Caleb wanted. Caleb seemed surprised by his directness. He paused for a moment. Then he started questioning Ethan. Why did he block his number? He listed all the messages and calls he had made. He was angry that Ethan had not only ignored them but blocked him. Ethan asked if that was all. Now Caleb finally lost his patience. He demanded to know what Ethan wanted. He said he had humbled himself and said everything. Why was Ethan still causing trouble? This was the real Caleb. His past kindness had been an act. In reality, he had no patience for Ethan. Once he realized he couldn't control him, his true nature emerged. Ethan stated calmly that he was not causing trouble. Caleb raised his voice. Then what was the breakup about? What was this engagement about? Ethan said there was no reason. He just wanted to break up. His engagement was his own business. It had nothing to do with Caleb. Caleb could not persuade him. His face turned ugly. He took a cigarette from his pocket and lit it. After a few puffs, he spoke again. He agreed to the breakup with a mocking smile. He blew out a ring of smoke. He said they would see how long Ethan could last. He warned Ethan not to come crawling back. He would not show any mercy. With no one bothering him, life became peaceful. Except for Alex's occasional puzzling behavior. Like right now, a notification showed a $20 million deposit into his account. He stared at all the zeros. He was shocked. The family was wealthy, but he had never seen such sums. With the previous 10 million, he now had 30 million. Felt like too much. After some thought, he went to ask Alex. He asked if this money was for him. Alex was reviewing documents. He looked up and asked if it was not enough. Ethan quickly shook his head, saying it was too much. Alex glanced at him briefly. Then he returned to his work. His voice was flat. He said Ethan's help was a great service. He would be compensated financially in the future. But money was all he would offer. The meaning was clear. Money was available, but affection was not. Ethan said he understood. Alex paused for a moment. He told Ethan to cut ties with the person outside. He had no interest in being cheated on. Ethan was confused for a moment. Then he realized who Alex meant. He assured Alex he had no relationship with him. Alex said that was for the best. It had been over a month since Caleb contacted him. Besides Alex, his mother had not called either. She did, however, frequently contact Alex. She was getting business projects from him. Ethan had been here for almost 3 months. Felt like a dream. Downstairs, Maria greeted him. She asked if he wanted something light to eat. Ethan nodded his thanks. Maria looked at his face with concern. She said he had lost weight. Lately, it felt like he was cursed. He could not keep anything down. He would eat only to throw it all up at night. He was also sleeping constantly. He sighed, planning to see a doctor soon. Maria muttered as she walked away. She said his symptoms sounded like pregnancy. A jolt went through him, but he dismissed it. Alex was supposedly sterile. He could not be pregnant. That afternoon, Alex returned home. The butler said Alex also had a gland checkup scheduled. He suggested Ethan get one at the same time. When the results came back, Ethan froze completely. He stared at the report. All the indicators showed he was pregnant. His eyes were glazed over. Didn't Alex have a problem? A familiar voice called his name from behind. He turned to see Caleb. Caleb looked somewhat smug. He asked if Ethan had followed him to the hospital. His gaze fell on the report in Ethan's hand. He snatched it away. When he read the words, his face turned ugly. He hissed that Ethan was pregnant. He gritted his teeth, his eyes red with fury. He demanded to know whose it was. Was it Alex's? How could Ethan do this? Ethan frowned. He took a subtle step back. He asked what it had to do with Caleb. His words seemed to trigger Caleb. He said they were together for 3 years and never slept together. Now, after such a short time, Ethan was pregnant. He repeated his question in disbelief. Ethan was not surprised by Caleb's words. He told Caleb his statement was ridiculous. Alex was his alpha. Wasn't it normal for him to carry Alex's child? Caleb shouted that everyone knew Alex Sterling was sterile. He accused Ethan of being insane. Just then, Alex was wheeled over. His gaze swept over Ethan and Caleb. He was holding his phone. The screen was still lit. The moment the results were out, the electronic report was sent to Alex. Now, Ethan could not care less about Caleb. He just felt like he was finished. Should he admit it or deny it? On his first day, Alex had warned him. He would not mark him. But now, he not only had a permanent mark. He was also pregnant. Clutching the report, he felt helpless. He started to explain to Alex. Alex looked up, his voice cold as ice. He asked if it was someone else's. Ethan glanced at the butler behind Alex. The man's lips were sealed tighter than stone. He hadn't betrayed Ethan yet. Before Ethan could explain, Alex spoke. He glanced dismissively at Caleb. He informed him they needed to handle a family matter. From a distance, Julian's voice called for Caleb. Caleb gritted his teeth. He gave Ethan a complicated look, then left. In the car, Ethan explained what happened that night. Alex kept his eyes closed. He said nothing. Just as Ethan was growing anxious, Alex opened his eyes. He turned his head to look at Ethan. He asked if the fever was because of the bond. It was more than that. That night, their pheromones were wildly entangled. Alex had no restraint. He was relentless. Ethan had cried and begged, but Alex did not stop. Ethan did not know why Alex was asking this now. Why hadn't Alex thrown him out of the car yet? But he still nodded his head. The car fell into complete silence. When they got home, Ethan packed his bags. He did not have many belongings. It did not take long to pack. With $30 million, he could go anywhere. He did not want to wait for Alex to kick him out. He ran away with the baby. Alex's face was dark when he found him. The butler, who had seen many things, handled the situation. He escorted Alex into Ethan's small apartment. Then he turned and left. Only Ethan and Alex were left, staring at each other. Ethan was so scared he jumped up from his chair. It was over. Alex was probably here for revenge. Alex's voice was like ice. He asked if Ethan even recognized him. Did he know how long Alex had been looking for him? Running away with his child. Alex called him incredibly bold. Alex was wrong. Ethan was not bold at all. In fact, his legs were already shaking. He chose to remain silent. Alex's voice was cold. He said Ethan owed him an explanation. An explanation for what? For running away with his child. Alex stared at him, enunciating every word. Didn't he owe Alex an explanation? Ethan felt like he was mute. All the words were stuck in his throat. Finally, he managed to squeeze out a sentence. He reminded Alex that he said he didn't want the child. Alex was silent for a moment. He looked up. Did he say those exact words to Ethan? That was true, he had not. But Alex's attitude at the time made it clear. He did not want this child. The silence was broken by the door opening. A young man named Leo came in with bags of groceries. He told Ethan he brought some nourishing food. He reminded Ethan he was pregnant. Then Leo finally noticed Alex. He asked Ethan who he was. Before Ethan could speak, Alex's face darkened. He declared himself Ethan's alpha, the father of the child in his belly. He then demanded to know who Leo was. The word alpha made Ethan's heart feel complex. When he was with Caleb, Caleb never acknowledged their relationship. He always called him his brother. So their relationship never progressed beyond that. Caleb had tried to contact him later, but the moment Ethan heard his voice, he blocked him. Hearing Alex's words now, his heart felt fizzy. It was a little sour, a little sweet. Leo looked at Ethan for confirmation. He saw Ethan standing there like a statue. He suddenly got angry. So this was the deadbeat father. Alex was stunned. He asked what Leo was talking about. Leo was about to say more, but Ethan pushed him out. He asked Leo to go home for now. He thanked him for the food. He promised to find him after he sorted this out. Leo glared at Alex with hostility, but he couldn't argue with Ethan. He just told Ethan to call him if he needed anything. Now only Ethan and Alex remained. Alex frowned. He asked who that man was. Was Ethan trying to find a new father for his child? Ethan's stomach felt uneasy. Omegas need their alpha's pheromones for comfort during pregnancy. When he ran away, he had stolen one of Alex's shirts. He would smell it when he felt unwell. But recently, the scent had faded. It was no longer effective. He asked Alex if he was planning to kick him out. That was why he left on his own. He uncomfortably sat on the sofa. He assured Alex he would not bother him. Alex's brow furrowed. He asked when he had ever said he would kick Ethan out. Ethan was stunned. He quietly reminded Alex that he had broken their agreement. He had not only received a permanent mark, he was also carrying Alex's child. In Alex's own words, he was shameless. Alex interrupted him. His dark eyes stared intently at Ethan. He asked again who the man from before was. Ethan said he was just a friend, and that friend was already married. Alex pressed on. Why was he bringing Ethan food? It might have been his imagination, but Alex seemed angry. It was strange. Alex had a sour look on his face. He removed his scent blocker. His pheromones wrapped around Ethan, soothing him. His stomach felt much better. Then Ethan explained. His friends Omega thought Ethan's alpha was dead. That was why he was being so attentive. Alex was speechless. He asked if Ethan had told people he was dead. Ethan quickly shook his head. He denied the accusation immediately. After Ethan was calm, Alex withdrew his pheromones. He told Ethan to come back with him. Ethan was a bit taken aback. Alex's face was tense. He said the child in his belly needed him. But Alex had said. Alex cut him off, saying he never said that. Ethan eventually did not go back with Alex. Instead, Alex moved in with him. The butler packed Alex's things and brought them over within an hour. Then he left briskly. Ethan looked at Alex. He said he could not take care of him. Alex said he did not need to be cared for. He told Ethan to just take care of himself. At night, when Ethan slept, Alex would stay outside his door. He would release his pheromones. Ethan could finally sleep well again. Alex, on the other hand, suffered. He had dark circles under his eyes for 3 days. Ethan decided he needed to talk to Alex seriously. He brought up their original agreement. It was meant to satisfy their families. He had violated the terms. He told Alex that if he did not want to continue this marriage, he shouldn't force it. He would not use the child to threaten him. Alex's hand on his wheelchair tensed. He asked if Ethan wanted to cancel the marriage. Before Ethan could answer, Alex said coldly he did not agree. Ethan was surprised. Alex stated firmly that he was Ethan's alpha. He would be responsible for him. He said he hoped Ethan would give him a chance. But Alex did not like him. Alex just asked for a little time. Ethan swallowed his words. He simply said okay. A week later, Alex proposed they go abroad to get married. He wanted to make things official. These past few days, Alex released pheromones for him every night. He had moved from outside the door to inside. Ethan asked if he was sure about this. Alex said there was no need for more consideration. That same day, they were on a private jet. They received their marriage certificate. It meant they were now legally bound together. Ethan thought the marriage was a spontaneous decision, but the butler later told him privately it was not. After they returned from the hospital, Alex was already considering it. Then he went to visit his family. When he came back, he found Ethan gone. He was furious. He even went to find Caleb. Ethan was stunned. The butler sighed. He said Alex had never been loved. He did not know what love was. Perhaps he had already fallen for Ethan without realizing it. He treated Ethan differently. That day, he stayed in Ethan's empty room for a long time. But that did not prove Alex loved him. At most, it meant he was different. Ethan subconsciously touched the ring on his finger. An hour before the ceremony, Alex had put it on him. He couldn't propose properly. He just said he would be responsible for Ethan. He told him he could still back out if he was disgusted. Ethan said nothing. He just pushed Alex's wheelchair inside. They became legal partners. That night, his heat came on fiercely. Alex lay beside him. The room was filled with his pheromones. They mingled with Ethan's. He told Alex he was hot. After getting pregnant, his heats were harder to endure. They also came more frequently. He wrapped his arms around Alex. He begged him for a bite. Although Alex's legs were immobile, he was physically fit. His upper body was very strong. He pulled Ethan over with one arm. He lowered his head and bit down. But it was not enough. Ethan panted, begging for more help. Alex closed his eyes. His voice was hoarse as he agreed. Alex could not move, but Ethan could. In the end, he had no strength left. He fell asleep on Alex's chest. Half a month later, they returned home. Caleb was waiting outside. He stood in front of their car. He was probably there for Ethan. Alex asked if he wanted to see him. Some things needed to be said clearly. Alex nodded, saying he would wait inside. After Ethan got out of the car, Caleb rushed over. He said he did not marry Julian. He called off the wedding. Ethan was completely stunned. He asked if Caleb had lost his mind. Caleb asked if he was not happy. He grabbed Ethan's hand, begging him to come back. He said he didn't care whose child it was. He just wanted Ethan back. Ethan pulled his hand away. Caleb watched him with a hurt expression. Ethan acted as if he did not see it. He calmly said he would not go back with him. He was already married to Alex. Caleb stared at him, then started laughing. He asked if Ethan was joking. Was this all to spite him? Ethan said he was not trying to spite him. He was really married. He said that whether Caleb believed it or not, they were legally partners. Caleb was silent for a moment. His eyes turned red. He asked what about him. Ethan said he was in the past. He told Caleb not to look for him anymore. Caleb demanded to know why. Ethan thought for a moment before answering. Alex did not hide their relationship. He never made Ethan feel ashamed. He might seem cold, but he was very good to him. Most importantly, he gave him choices. He never forced him to do anything. Caleb asked if that was all. Ethan said it was more than enough. When Ethan was 5 months pregnant, Alex went to the hospital. It was not for a gland checkup. It was to check his legs. The result was the same. He would be in a wheelchair for life. He asked Ethan if he wanted a divorce. Ethan's heart felt like it was being squeezed. The pain was immense. He stubbornly refused to divorce. Alex gave a bitter smile, stroking his neck. He reminded Ethan he would never stand again. Since coming back, Alex had seen several doctors. He had tried every possible treatment, but his legs showed no signs of recovery. Ethan told him it did not matter. He would take care of him. Alex finally smiled. He whispered that he could not let go. Ethan never told Alex that he saw him. He would wake up at night and see Alex on the balcony. He would be smoking, hating himself for being disabled. Ethan wanted to leave Alex with some dignity. That night, he lay in Alex's arms. He asked if his feelings were just responsibility. Alex was silent for a long time. Then he said no. Ethan paused for a moment. Then he asked if it was love. Alex lowered his head and kissed his hair. He said the question had troubled him for a long time. He did not know if it was responsibility or love. But now he seemed to have found the answer. He told Ethan that it was love. Ethan deliberately teased him, but Alex had told him not to expect his love. Alex sounded helpless. He admitted he was wrong. A smile curved Ethan's lips. He sat up and kissed him. He said that was good enough. They would be bound together like this. Forever bound together.